If you look at my medical records, you will see a disaster. Herniated discs in the lumbar spine, a meniscus that looks like shredded paper, fingers that haven't been straight since 2015, a neck that grinds like gravel in a cement mixer every time I turn my head to check a blind spot. By every traditional medical standard, Jiu-Jitsu has destroyed my body. It has accelerated the aging process of my joints by 2 decades. It has taken a perfectly functional, pain-free vessel and turned it into a collection of chronic inflammations and scar tissue. And yet, if I stop training for 3 days, I feel like I am dying. This is the paradox that no doctor understands. We are not here for wellness. We are not here for fitness in the way the world sells it, with smiling people jogging in the park and drinking green juice. We are here engaging in a slow, methodical destruction of the physical self to preserve the sanity of the mental self. We break the body to heal the mind. And honestly, it is a fair trade. I remember the first time I realized the cost. I woke up on a Tuesday morning and it took me 5 minutes just to sit up straight. My lower back was locked in a spasm so tight it felt like a vice grip. My hands were swollen claws, stiff from gripping heavy jizz for 2 hours the night before. I walked to the bathroom like a 90-year-old man. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, is this smart? Is this sustainable? The logical answer is no. Of course it isn't. It is insanity to pay a monthly fee to have people strangle you and hyperextend your limbs. It is madness to voluntarily walk into a room where the goal is to simulate murder until one person taps out. But then I remembered who I was before I started doing this. I remembered the anxiety that used to sit in my chest like a heavy stone. I remembered the short fuse I had with my family, the inability to handle stress at work, the constant buzzing noise of modern life that never went silent. I had a healthy body then. My knees were perfect, my back was supple, but my mind was fragile. I was physically whole, but I was mentally weak. I would trade that healthy, pristine body for this broken, painful, capable machine every single day of the week. There is a concept in economics called opportunity cost. Everything you choose costs you something else. You choose comfort, the cost is weakness. You choose safety, the cost is mediocrity. We choose the mats, the cost is pain. The cost is waking up hurting. The cost is surgery. But what we buy with that currency is silence. When you are fighting for your life, even in a simulation, the noise stops. You cannot worry about your emails, your bills, or your relationship problems when someone is trying to separate your shoulder from its socket. The immediate threat of physical violence forces you into the present moment more effectively than any meditation app ever could. We use the physical suffering to burn off the mental fog. It is a purification ritual. The pain in my fingers is a reminder that I am doing something real in a world that is increasingly fake. The ache in my neck is the price of knowing that I can survive under pressure. The limp in my walk is a receipt. It proves I paid my dues. Most people treat their bodies like a museum exhibit. They want to keep it pristine, untouched, behind glass, preserving it for as long as possible. They want to arrive at the grave with a perfectly preserved skeleton. What a waste. Your body is not a museum piece. It is a tool. It is a vehicle. It is meant to be used. It is meant to be worn down. If you return a rental car with no miles on it, you didn't go anywhere. I intend to return this body to the earth completely used up. I want the tires bald. I want the chassis bent. I want the engine smoking. I want to arrive at the end knowing that I squeezed every drop of experience and resilience out of this vessel. But let's not romanticize the damage too much. There is a dark side to this. There are days when the pain makes you question everything. There are days when you can't pick up your child without wincing. There are nights you can't sleep because your shoulder is throbbing. This is the unpleasant truth of our art. You are not invincible. In fact, you are becoming more vulnerable in specific ways so you can be formidable in others. You are trading mobility for stability. You are trading ease of movement for the capacity to endure suffering. The civilian world looks at us and sees masochism. They see people who are addicted to pain. They are wrong. We are not addicted to pain. We are addicted to the clarity that comes after the pain. We are addicted to the version of ourselves that walks out of the academy after a hard sparring session. That version is calmer. That version is kinder. That version is harder to offend and impossible to intimidate. The civilian you worries about traffic. The Jiu-Jitsu you knows that traffic is nothing compared to being mounted by a heavyweight who knows how to apply pressure. The principle here is adaptation through trauma. Muscles only grow when you tear the fibers. Bones only densify when you load them with weight. The mind only expands when you force it to navigate chaos. You cannot build a fortress without breaking the ground. We are constantly breaking our own ground. The injuries are just the debris from the construction site. Think about the alternative. Look at the people who avoid all discomfort. Are they happy? Are they thriving? Or are they breaking down anyway? That is the irony. If you don't break your body with purpose, time will break it with neglect. Sitting in a chair for 12 hours a day destroys your back just as surely as a stack pass does, but it gives you nothing in return. It gives you the injury without the glory. It gives you the stiffness without the strength. If I am going to hurt, I want it to be on my terms. I want my pain to have a purpose. I want my scars to have stories, not just be the result of gravity and laziness. So yes, Jiu-Jitsu destroyed my body. It took my cartilage and gave me grit. It took my flexibility and gave me focus. It took my comfort and gave me a code. I limp so I can think straight. I hurt so I can heal. And if you asked me if I would go back and save my knees, save my fingers, save my spine by never stepping on the mats, I would look you in the eye and tell you that I would do it all again. I would break twice as fast if it meant I could keep this mine. Because in the end, you are not your body. You are the will that commands it. And a pristine body commanded by a weak will is useless. Give me the wreckage. Give me the pain. Give me the truth.